History teaches us one immutable lesson, a truth etched in the rise and fall of civilizations. Power is not given freely, but forged in crisis. It is hammered out on the anvil of adversity, shaped by the fires of challenge and tempered by the cold realities of survival. Great empires and sacred institutions, monuments to human ambition and divine aspiration, have all faced moments of reckoning, times when their very existence hung in the balance, threatened by forces both internal and external. Inflection points where the old ways shatter, traditions crumble, and something new is born from the ashes of the past. These are the moments that define legacies. In the summer of 2025, such a moment arrived, unbidden and unwelcome for the Roman Catholic Church. A shadow fell over the Vatican, a darkness that seemed to emanate from within its own hallowed halls, deeper than any scandal before, more insidious than any external threat. This was a crisis that struck at the very heart of the Church. This was a crisis of faith, a profound questioning of the institution's integrity and its ability to guide its flock, threatening to sever the Church's soul, its connection to the divine, from its billion followers scattered across the globe. The foundations of St. Peter's Basilica, symbols of enduring strength and unwavering belief, now seemed to tremble under an unseen threat, a silent earthquake that threatened to bring the entire edifice crashing down. The crisis's nature was a closely guarded secret, shrouded in secrecy and veiled in carefully constructed denials. Whispered only in the most secure chambers, behind closed doors and amongst the most trusted confidants. Leaks spoke of a schism, a deep and irreconcilable division within the Church's ranks, not of doctrine, not of theological interpretation, but of trust, the very bedrock upon which the Church was built. A systemic failure implicated the highest echelons of the Curia, the Church's central administrative body, hinting at a betrayal that could unravel the papacy's moral authority, leaving it vulnerable and exposed. Pope Leo XIV, known for his scholarly calm and his deep understanding of history, stared into the abyss, contemplating the choices before him and the potential consequences of each path. The usual instruments of papal authority, encyclicals, pronouncements, councils, diplomacy, were failing to stem the tide of discontent and distrust. They were proving inadequate to address the depth of the crisis. The air in Rome thickened with paranoia, suspicion clinging to every corner of the ancient city. The Swiss Guard, once largely a ceremonial presence, symbols of tradition and loyalty, now patrolled with visible tension, their eyes scanning the crowds, their hands never far from their weapons. Within the Curia, factions solidified, alliances shifted, and old rivalries resurfaced with renewed intensity. Every glance was measured, every gesture scrutinized, every word weighed for hidden meaning, every conversation coded, every meeting held in secret, every decision made with an eye towards self-preservation. The crisis was a poison, slowly but surely seeping into the Church's veins, turning allies into rivals, sowing seeds of discord, and threatening to tear the institution apart from the inside out. It was clear with a chilling certainty the Church could not save itself with its existing structures, its established procedures, its traditional methods. A single decisive act was needed, a bold and unprecedented move to break the cycle of decay, one that would either cauterize the wound, stopping the spread of corruption, or kill the patient, destroying the Church as it was known. Pope Leo was being pushed toward a decision, a precipice from which there was no turning back, that would redefine his office, reshape the Church's future, and alter the course of history. The world watched with bated breath, unaware of the revolution brewing behind the Vatican's walls, the seismic shift that was about to shake the foundations of the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church, a global institution steeped in tradition, found itself at a critical juncture. Storm clouds gathered, both literally and figuratively, as the winds of change threatened to upend the established order. Into this maelstrom stepped Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, a figure who would soon become a lightning rod for both hope and controversy. He was, in many ways, an outsider, hailing from the vibrant and complex landscape of the Philippines. His ministry was forged in Manila's vibrant, bustling streets, a world away from the hushed halls of the Vatican. He dedicated himself to the impoverished communities, understanding their struggles and amplifying their voices. He spoke with humility and grace, a stark contrast to the often rigid pronouncements emanating from Rome. He had a unique ability to disarm the powerful with his gentle demeanor, while simultaneously offering comfort and solace to the marginalized and forgotten. His popularity was immense, drawing crowds wherever he went, a testament to his genuine connection with the people. This was especially true in the global South, where his message of hope and inclusivity resonated deeply. To millions around the world, he embodied a merciful and compassionate church, a beacon of light in a world often shrouded in darkness. This image stood in stark contrast to the perception of Vatican rigidity, its adherence to tradition sometimes seen as out of touch with the modern world. But this very popularity, this connection with the common person, made him suspect in the eyes of the curial old guard, the Vatican's entrenched power structure. Italian cardinals, seasoned veterans and masters of Vatican politics, viewed Tagle with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. They saw Tagle as dangerously naive, perhaps too idealistic for the harsh realities of Vatican power struggles. His appeal to the masses, his ability to inspire and mobilize people, was seen by some as populism, a potentially destabilizing force. They feared it could be a threat to tradition, to the established hierarchies and ways of doing things. He moved through Rome as a guest, a stranger in a strange land, navigating the intricate web of Vatican politics. He was seen as unpredictable and uncontrollable, a force that could not be easily contained or manipulated. Yet, beneath his gentle exterior, behind that calm and peaceful demeanor, lay something more. There was a keen intellect, a sharp gaze, and an unwavering resolve that belied his humble appearance. He called for the Church to encounter humanity in the peripheries, to reach out to the marginalized, the forgotten, and the dispossessed. This message was celebrated by reformers within the Church, those who longed for a more inclusive and compassionate institution. But it was equally feared by conservatives, who saw it as a threat to the Church's traditional teachings and authority. The old guard watched from the shadows, their eyes narrowed, their expressions unreadable. They were searching for weakness, for any sign that Tagle was not up to the task, any opportunity to undermine his growing influence. They didn't have to wait long, for fate, it seemed, was about to intervene. Pope Leo was about to elevate this humble outsider, this cardinal of the people, to unprecedented power, setting the stage for a dramatic confrontation within the heart of the Catholic Church. On July 14th, 2025, a date that would forever be etched in the annals of Vatican history, the Vatican released a papal decree, a document so radical, so unexpected, that it sent shockwaves through the Catholic world and beyond. It was delivered without fanfare, without ceremony, almost as if the Vatican itself was holding its breath, bracing for the storm to come. It was a thunderbolt. Pope Leo, in a move that defied centuries of tradition, merged the Church's two most powerful domains: spiritual authority, the very essence of the Church's mission, and temporal security, the physical protection of the Vatican and its interests. The decree, in its sweeping changes, dissolved the dicastery for the doctrine of the faith, the ancient guardian of orthodoxy, and the governatorate of Vatican City-State, the body responsible for the day-to-day administration of the Vatican. In their place, a new office, the Prefecture for the Security and Integrity of the Faith, a name that spoke volumes about the Pope's intentions. Its prefect would wield combined powers, investigating heresy, rooting out dissent, commanding police, detaining suspects, bringing the full force of Vatican law to bear, seizing documents, silencing opposition. This was a fusion of inquisitor and police chief, a chilling combination of spiritual and secular power, a declaration of martial law for the Church's soul, a desperate attempt to maintain control in a rapidly changing world. The final paragraph, the most shocking of all, named Cardinal Tagle as prefect, entrusting him with this unprecedented authority. The world was stunned. Disbelief and outrage rippled across continents. The Vatican's old guard was aghast, their carefully constructed world order shattered in an instant. The outsider, the progressive voice, now held the keys to the kingdom, and no one knew what he would unlock. The aftermath of split the College of Cardinals. Conservatives, led by Cardinal Bellini, saw the decree as a reckless coup, a betrayal of tradition. They accused Pope Leo of heresy and tyranny, fearing Tagle would purge tradition and enforce liberal theology. Reformers, a diverse coalition from the global south and beyond, saw the decree as necessary surgery. They believed the old guard's resistance was the true crisis. Tagle, untainted by scandal, represented a new pastoral face for the Church. The battle lines were drawn. The Vatican became a silent war zone, with both sides convinced they were fighting for the soul of the Church. Tagle's investiture was stark, held in the Pauline Chapel, not St. Peter's. Only Pope Leo, loyal aides and security commanders attended. The ceremony was more military than religious. Tagle knelt before the pontiff, receiving a leather-bound gospel, his mandate to defend the faith, then an iron key, the master key to Vatican intelligence and security. This was not a symbol, but real authority over the Church's secrets and security. Pope Leo entrusted Tagle with both the Church's soul and body. As Tagle rose, he became the custos fidei, guardian of the faith. His new responsibilities were immense: to investigate the crisis, command, judge, and, if necessary, purge. The burden was etched on his face. He now held the power to save the Church or break it. What drove Pope Leo to such a radical move? Was it desperation or a masterstroke of strategy? The crisis was real, threatening the Church's moral standing. The curial system was compromised. A conventional investigation would fail. Desperation demanded a state of exception, concentrating power in one incorruptible man. But perhaps Leo was also a shrewd strategist. By appointing Tagle, he bypassed compromised factions, placated reformers, and created a powerful lieutenant loyal only to him. If Tagle succeeded, Leo would be hailed as a reformer. If he failed, Tagle could be sacrificed. It was political genius, using one man's integrity as both weapon and shield. The world reacted with shock, fear, and a sliver of hope. Secular governments were unsettled by the concentration of power. The new prefecture sounded like a medieval relic reborn. Fears grew that the office could suppress dissent far beyond Vatican walls. Inside the Church, the laity was divided. The global South saw hope. Conservatives in Europe and North America saw tyranny. Media coverage was relentless. The world watched a high-stakes drama unfold. All eyes turned to Tagle. Would he act with restraint or wield his power with force? The Church's future hung on his first move. The world expected thunder. Instead, Tagle's first act was silence. No statements, no public appearances. The prefecture retreated from view, unsettling the Vatican's factions. Behind the scenes, Tagle assembled a radical team: a German forensic accountant, an Argentine judge, a tech-savvy African canon lawyer. He built an independent investigative unit, loyal only to him. Their office was Spartan, their work secret. Tagle reviewed decades of records, building a case piece by piece. His silence was strategic, a hunter, stalking prey. The old guard, unnerved, began making mistakes, exposing themselves. Tagle's quiet focus let his enemies reveal themselves. Sometimes the most effective way to begin a war is with silence. As autumn approached, the Church stood on a precipice. The shock of Leo's decree faded, replaced by tense anticipation. The fate of the Church now rested on Tagle's shoulders. He sat on a throne built from a broken system, both blessing and curse. The world watched, waiting for the silence to break. Would Tagle be the savior reformers hoped for, or the tyrant conservatives feared? Power corrupts, and the tools of the Inquisitor can become ends in themselves. Could Tagle's quest for renewal become a witch hunt? Would he lose the connection to the people that defined him? The Church waited. The future was unwritten. Would Tagle save the Church or preside over its schism? The weight of tomorrow rested with him. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.